Good evening and welcome into the Point After here on the New Orleans Saints Radio Network. Saints win 18-10 over the Carolina Panthers, run their record to 8-8. Along with the Cajun Cannon, Bobby Hebert, I'm Christian Garrick. Before we get to Bobby's rant, let's pause 10 seconds for station identification on the New Orleans Saints Radio Network. Back here on the Point After on the New Orleans Saints Radio Network, Bobby Hebert, the Cajun Cannon, founding father of the Who Dat Nation. 18-10. He's showing off on Facebook his new bootleg shirt. Try me one more time, and it's the picture of C.D. Deuce folding his arms, looking up at Tom Brady after they shut out the Buccaneers a few weeks back.
Folding his arms, smiling.
Yeah.
And C.D. Deuce is the man. He's a dog. Listen, you want him on your side. You might hate him if he's not on your team, but if he's on your team, you embrace him. He's just a playmaker. He loves football. Chris, I don't know if anyone else loves more football than Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. He'll tell you that in the heat of the summer. Mm-hmm. He'll tell you that in the dead of winter. You could be 100-point underdog, whatever. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, Christian, he has to get into coaching or something.
Well, I don't know if he'll get into coaching.
He loves football that much.
I think he's a future All-Pro. He should be an All-Pro, I think, this year.
But what I'm saying is I think football, he would say his hobby is football. What do you do for a living? I play football. What is your hobby? I play football.
Yeah.
No, I don't know if he does anything else. He might play video games or whatever. But, no, he is outstanding. All I know is when he was inactive on defense and how Dennis Allen has to adjust to the defense when he's not on the field is a big difference what we doing defensively. When he's out there, he has a lot of freedom, and Dennis Allen trusts him. Malcolm Jenkins trusts him. DeMario Davis. You look, okay, who would be the team captains, that being DeMario Davis and Malcolm Jenkins on the back end? The positions, that different calls that they put on C.D. Deuce. No, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, he's a flat-out stud. I'm just glad he's on our side because he gets in the opponent's head. But not only is he talking, he's walking the talk. You can talk smack, but you got to back it up. When you back it up, then the opponent just got to walk away. What were you going to say? Come on.
18-10, the Saints beat the Carolina Panthers. 7 sacks, 3.5 from Cam Jordan. 2 turnovers, about as textbook and dominant as you can get on defense.
No, as dominant. Christian, anytime you give up 10 points, shame on your team if you don't win. If we'd have gave up 18 points and lost, I'd have been shame on the offense. You give up in the teens this day and age or 10 points, you should never lose. And that stands for reason under Sean Payton. Sean knows this. We allowed 20 or fewer points. We played 100 games when we've allowed 20 or fewer points under Sean Payton. We won 92% of the time. So I can figure it out, 92-8. So we've won 92% of the time. We played exactly 100 games when our defense has allowed 20 or fewer points, and we've won 92 and we've lost 8. Now, if you look commit 0 turnovers, I say, okay, Mike, to tell you, we're all talking about, you cannot give the Panthers a short field. You got to protect the football. Well, we didn't turn it over. We end up being +2 for the game. We +4 of the season. Carolina came into the game. They were -9. Now they're -11 for the season. You wonder why they're not winning? They've now lost 11 out of their last 13. That simple number, you can see the ebb and flow. I was kind of disappointed in their play, or they were probably, in DJ Moore. It seemed like he was disinterested because he's a 1,000-yard receiver, and he didn't do much of nothing today.
3 catches for 29 yards.
Yeah, and 8 targets. He had, I want to say for sure, 1 drop, if not true. 2 of he Christian, like he didn't want to even be there. Come on, and you
treated one pass almost like a volleyball spike.
No, like he spiked it. I mean, you talk about one of the best receivers in the NFL. No, that like he didn't want to be there. But Christian, if you look at it again, allowing 20 or fewer points, 92-8, allowing or committing, I should say, 0 turnovers. We're now 55-6. 55 wins. Not even if our defense doesn't even take it away. Just if we don't turn over the ball, we're 55-6. Now, this does not surprise me, or I should say I'm disheartened by this because this is something I got to get my notes on this one. But anyway, it's on 3rd down. We have been horrendous 3rd down offensively. We were horrendous again today. We were 5 of 13, 38%. I want to say for the season, we're like 32, 33%. And I never thought I'd see that in a Sean Payton offense because they were so efficient with Drew Brees, obviously that making a difference. Now, this was not necessarily good, where we had -4 yards rushing in the first half. Well, we ended up, Christian, getting 73 yards. So if we'd have did that, or half of that in the first half, then you'd have been all right. But we ended up with 28 rushing attempts, 73 yards, 2.5-yard average per carry. That's not getting it done. I thought the officials, we were worried about the crew. They only called 6 penalties.
Yeah, Jerome Bogar's crew typically is pretty flag happy.
Yeah, and they only called 6 penalties. Now only 1 against Carolina, 5 against the Saints, but it's still they got it right. You remember when the grounding penalty on Taysom, where they were going to place the ball, when Sean decided not to go for the long field goal, and he went for the long the punt. And playing the field position game, because our defense stepped up, ended up working in that regard when all said and done. But time of possession was not boding well for the Saints at the beginning. When I look at this, I mean, it was like, Christian, I wrote this, the Panthers, all of a sudden, we're watching the game, they had 13 minutes back, basically on back-to-back 2 drives. All of a sudden, it's the second quarter, and they scored 10 points. And I go, well, man, if our defense don't play great, we're not going to freaking win. Our defense has to play great. But we end up coming back. The time of possession, it was 50-50. They had the ball 30 and a half minutes. We had it 29 and a half. So we really played catch up in that regard. But it was like almost the watch. Okay, you're in the watchtower, and you see, when is this going to occur? Okay, so when are we going to finally score a touchdown? This is the NFL. You can score a touchdown if you want to. It sounds like... you
don't get penalized for it.
Yeah, you don't get penalized for it. Well, I don't know if I've ever witnessed this. We kicked 8 straight field goals until we finally got a touchdown. So we scored 24 points before we actually scored a touchdown in the 12th quarter. So it took us 3 games. It's amazing we're still in the playoff hunt, but it is what it is. We are. And Christian, like I said earlier, I mean, I don't know any rhyme or reason behind this when you think about it. It is when you think they're going to win, they don't win. And then, okay, look, Tampa Bay twice, Green Bay. Look how we won those games. Then you lose to the Giants and Falcons. I don't know. I would not be surprised if we lay an egg in Atlanta, and I'd not be surprised if we win. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen.
They're kind of unpredictable.
They're unpredictable, and looking at that, I know you got to score points to win. You're not going to win too many games, 18-10. The bottom line, like look at Callaway. Callaway, I don't understand Callaway. It's a lack of concentration. I think you asked Zeus that. It's a lack of concentration because how can you make the difficult catch and then you miss the easy catches? It's a lack of concentration. He had 3 drops. He was targeted 10 times. Taysom's looking for him. He had 6 catches, 97 yards. If he just catches the ball, this would have been his second game over 100 yards receiving. And a great average, over 16 yards a catch. So I think that's maybe a lack of concentration. Now, Alvin Kamara, but it didn't look like, man, Alvin Kamara type day. But Christian, I think I always say this, he needs to be about 120 plus as a pass receiving running back and running back. Well, he hit the century mark. He got to 100. It wasn't like what we witnessed against the Buccaneers and what happened last week where Kamara was not a factor. And even in the running game wasn't a factor. He had 13 carries. He averaged 2.5 yards a carry. He had 5 catches for 68 yards. He had that long gain of 29. Then we all know he had the touchdown. But he ended up with 100 yards total. But looking at sacking Sam Darnold 7 times, I think we took advantage of that. How can you not give a game ball to the veteran, Cam Jordan? Not only Christian, now this is unusual because he's not a linebacker, considering not only did he lead the team in sacks and quarterback hurries and tackle for loss, he led the team in tackles. Usually you don't see a defensive end leading the team in tackles. Now, Kwan Alexander was tied with him. They both had 6 unassisted and 8 total. And but if you look, quarterback hurries, tackle for loss, sacks, Cam Jordan, number 1. Looking at C.D. Deuce, he ended up having a sack also. Then he had 2 quarterback hurries tied with Quan Alexander in that area. Tackle for loss, interception, and the pass defended. But this is a game you had to win to give yourself hope and being in the hunt. I don't know if we could do anything, even if we make the postseason. But, hey, it just shows you how hard it is to win in the NFL. The Saints coming away with a win, 18-10. I don't know. You don't get any style points. You might say it's an ugly win, but they didn't lose. What I was worried about was, how in the hell we can't make the damn extra point? Because then it's 2 scores.
Mm-hmm.
You can see a scenario, it's 18-10, they would go for 2 and make it. Now in overtime, we lose. Where if it's 19-10, maybe they have no chance of coming back. Those little bitty things, but I was like, who knows? I still think it's the 2021 year, even though we're in 2022. Who knows what's going to happen as far as the weirdness with this team. But the bottom line, the Saints come out on top, and they're still on the hunt. And who that nation? Tonight. Come on, you never know what's going to happen in the NFL. You got to cheer for the Cheeseheads. Go Packers, go Pack, go against the Vikings. No Kirk Cousins. He's not playing. He has COVID. He didn't take the vaccine, so it's not going to be some miracle comeback. He ain't playing. The Packers have to win, okay? Now, we got to have to hope. We're going to talk about this and break this down later. The Packers got to win tonight, and then you need the Rams to beat the 49ers. We need that to happen in the Cowgirls. The Cowgirls, what they have? Did they win against the Cardinals, Christian?
They lost, I think.
Oh, they lost to the Cardinals. But that's why we still need Dallas to come back and beat the Eagles next week, because the Eagles came back and beat the Washington football team. So it's not a woulda, coulda, shoulda, and all what has to happen. But the Saints beat Atlanta. I'm telling you that they have a good chance of still being in the postseason.
He's Bobby Hebert. I'm Christian Garrick. We are just getting started here on The Point After on the New Orleans Saints Radio Network. Welcome back to The Point After here on the New Orleans Saints Radio Network, along with the Cajun Cannon, Bobby Hebert. I'm Christian Garrick. Saints win 18-10 over the Carolina Panthers, now 8-8 on the year. Still have a shot at the postseason. The rundown is simple for the Saints. They don't control their own destiny, so they would have to win, obviously, next week.
To win out, yeah.
Basically, so Minnesota has to lose tonight. You want the Packers to win. And Philly clinches a playoff berth with that, and Minnesota would be eliminated if the Vikings lose tonight. The Saints clinch with a win in Atlanta, and San Francisco lost at the Rams. San Francisco clinches a playoff spot with a win over the Rams. So we are big Rams fans this week, Packers fans this week as well.
And we also Cowgirl fans. I'm even going to go further, Christian. Amy Judge did this. I think she brought this out, did a lot of homework in the Picayune and, the Advocate. The Saints went out. This is a very likable or a very attainable situation without any upsets, kind of like the 49ers beat the Texans, right? And they would lose to the Rams. The bottom line, you want the 49ers lose to the Rams because you don't want to be in a head-to-head tie with the Eagles and the 49ers win also, but you want that three-way tie scenario in this regard. The Saints went out, the 49ers beat the Texans and lose to the Rams. So you want to. Then the Eagles would beat Washington, which they did today, but lose to Dallas next weekend. And the Vikings lose to the Packers tonight, and they'll probably beat the Bears next week. I said probably. Who knows what's going to happen? That would put New Orleans at 9-8, the 49ers at 9-8, the Eagles at 9-8, and the Vikings would be 8-9. It'd be a three-way tie for 2 final spots between the Saints, 49ers, and the Eagles. Then you look at head-to-head and what would occur, the Eagles have played both the 49ers and the Saints, but Philadelphia is 1-1 in those contests, and the Saints and 49ers haven't played, so you go on to the next scenario. Winning percentage in NFC games. In this situation, the Saints and the Eagles would both be 7-5 in the NFC conference, and the 49ers would be 6-6, so the 49ers would lose out here. And the Saints and the Eagles would go on to the postseason. That's highly likely.
Bobby,
I mean, that could happen.
The
it's
NFL
not pie in the sky.
The NFL loves this, I'm sure. 24 of the 32 member clubs are still alive for
mathematically.
Mathematically,
alive. Without a doubt.
Three-quarters of the league is still mathematically alive.
They've been won that every season. Not like a half, not 16 out of the 32. When you got three-quarters, Christian, no. The NFL. You know what that tells me? And then you look at a division play at the end, like the Saints having to play Carolina and Atlanta. Now, it's not always exact, but, like look at Dallas and the NFC East playing, or the NFC North, playing head-to-head, or NFC West, head-to-head matchups. It makes the games more meaningful, and you might be playing for something instead of having to rest players, So then you pique the interest of most of the fans. But where you are playing for something, even though it is still the regular season.
3 teams in the AFC have been eliminated, and 5 teams in the NFC have been eliminated.
No, Christian, the NFL would want this every year. If they can have this, not no 50-50 deal, whoever's doing the scheduling, they're doing it right. You know, sometimes you might say, well, I don't understand the scheduling. I'm not talking about with COVID and they reschedule games. I'm talking about when they come out with the schedule in April and how they rotate the divisions you're playing. Like when we play in the AFC, like we all know next year we're not playing. I don't even know who we're playing, Chris. I know we're not playing the AFC East because we just played them. But we will rotate and play another AFC division. Mm-hmm. So they've done an outstanding job with that and the meaningful games down the stretch. And so how can you argue when you have 3/4 of the NFL teams are still relevant in the playoff hunt and mathematically not out of it, and you got basically 1 game left?
Pretty amazing. Our Oakland Heart Jewelers talk and text lines are open at 504-260-1870. It's the point after, along with the Cajun Cannon Bobby Hebert. I'm Christian Garrick. Sean Ross at Master Control taking your calls on our Oakland Heart Jewelers talk and text lines at 504-260-1870. Hollywood, what's going on, Hollywood? You're on WWL. The New Orleans Saints Radio Network.
Hello, Bobby.
Hey, Hollywood, what you
first
got?
mess of in Week 17. First time I did that.
Hey, Hollywood, were you a little worried? I was like, man, come on. I thought we could beat this team, but it was like an ugly win, but it was still a win. What was your take on the game?
I was a little worried for 3/4. For some reason, it looks like the team didn't want to be there, but they woke up, all of a sudden. And the defense played outstanding. Cam Jordan, give him a game ball. I've been on him at the beginning of the season, middle of the season. You remember when Cam Jordan was producing? We were on him a little bit, me, you, and Christian. Now he put it on. So he's one of the reasons.
He's red hot right now. Red hot. There's not a pass rusher that's hotter than him right now.
Well, he never missed a game, but he got a little rest because of COVID. What he's done since COVID, Christian, he got 6.5 sacks.
3 straight three straight multiple sack games.
Hello? Now, you know what's interesting, Hollywood? Cam's one of those guys that he's still producing at a high level. Remember I tell you, if we're trying to get a quarterback for the future, you got to give up something to get something. Just by Cam producing this way, some other team might want Cam. Because remember, it's better to get rid of a player a year too soon than a year too late. And as productive as Cam Jordan is, that's value maybe for some other team. Now, I could come back to haunt the Saints, but in theory, you'd want to send him to the AFC. That'd be like a Deshaun Watson or Texans type deal of that era. But like you could be sending him to Seattle, a Russell Wilson type deal, and then you got to play Seattle and Cam Jordan. Then he's sacking your quarterback. So with that being said, I'm not saying to get rid of Cam, but all I know in the future, when you look at the Matthew Stafford deal with the Rams, you got to give up some draft picks and players, give up something to get something. And Cam Jordan is still in the contract. Like Teron Armstead's a free agent. So you have to look at, how you control a player's destiny and what's going to come about. But Cam Jordan, anytime, Christian, there's not too many games you could say throughout the National Football League when this occurs that not only, if you look at like your defensive end, you could say he can lead, and this is not the trifecta, the quad factor, whatever. Not only sacks, quarterback hurries, tackle for a loss, but tackles. Mm-hmm. Usually you can have an explosive game and lead the team in sacks, and then you can lead in quarterback hurries. It means you whooping the guy in front of you, or even tackles for a loss and getting penetration. But usually it's not necessarily that you're leading also the team in tackles. Cam Jordan, Christian, we need to give him 2 game balls what he did today.
Bobby, in 11 seasons, Cam Jordan has turned in double-digit sack seasons in 6 of 11 seasons. That's Canton, Ohio kind of production. 102.5 sacks for his career. Still got a game to go. He's going to play. I don't see him retiring at the end of this year.
Why did he retire? He's still playing at a high level. No, and now he might not be able to finish his career with the Saints, but he ain't quitting.
If you take away his rookie year in 2011, the lowest sack total production he's had is 7.5.
And you know what's crazy about this? Christian, Mike Detil, you can probably correct me if I'm wrong on this, but I want to say at Cal Berkeley, you know how many sacks he had? 4.
Yeah.
He was drafted in the first round
As a run stopper.
as a run stuffer. Now, even when he wasn't getting sacks, you can never say he was not playing the run. Now, I'm not saying 100%, but I'm saying overall, Cam Jordan will tell you, and I'll tell you, just look at the film, a flat-out stud against the run throughout his career. When he was developing his pass rushing moves to be able to get sacks, but he didn't do that in college. He got better as a pro.
You remember when Zach was with us, he described Cam Jordan's rushing repertoire as just awkward. It was just unique. Not everybody rushes the passer with those same moves. He's power. He's got finesse. I mean, look, again, I'm not trying to blow this up, but I genuinely believe by the time his career's done, we're going to be talking about Cam Jordan in Canton, Ohio, in the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Well, if you put an effort and heart, and if you could say being available to be held accountable every game, if you could package that into Davenport, he might be outlawed. It would be like a first ballot Hall of Famer. So somehow, if you can have those intangibles by Cam Jordan, which you can't coach and has to come from within, if you could put that in like a Marcus Davenport, it'd be off the chart. Now, it doesn't always work that way, you know.
Hollywood, thanks for the phone call. Andy in Alexandria, Virginia. Go ahead, Andy. You're on the New Orleans Saints Radio Network. Hello, Andy.
It would be a one-way.
Andy, you're on the New Orleans Saints Radio Network.
Andy, we just heard you said it'd be a one-way. I don't know if you're driving.
How much for 55-30?
All right, we're going to put Andy on hold.
120 and 250 would be the maximum. Okay, let me see what I'm going to.
Is he placing a bet or something? I don't know. 55.
I don't know. I don't know what Andy was doing, but nonetheless, Andy, if you're listening, we're going to bring you back on here shortly. Just get whatever it is that you're doing out of the way. Our Oakland Heart Jewelers talk and text lines are open. We'll step away and come back. This is The Point After on the New Orleans Saints Radio Network. Back here on The Point After on the New Orleans Saints Radio Network. Saints win 18-10 over the Carolina Panthers. 7 sacks from the Saints defense. 2 turnovers, an interception to end the game, a sack fumble from P.J. Williams in the game as well. Led to 3 points. Andy, you're back on the New Orleans Saints Radio Network, Andy.
Andy, are you there?
All right. Well, we'll give up on Andy.
Well, Christian, that was one area that I was concerned with as a team, was the sack total. And we haven't really had this kind of game like we had tonight. We've had that in the past. We've gotten 7 sacks because when we've been amongst the best, and, you look at the last, we won 4 straight NFC South titles. We were like a team like in the high 40s, low 50s in sacks. I think by us even having 7, Christian, it's like almost right now we're still a team that's going to be like best case scenario even with Atlanta. And let's say we have a good game against Matt Ryan, and I can tell you that's another game. When we sack Matt Ryan 3 times or more, we win. When we don't sack him, he burns us. And that's what happened in the first game. That's what even happened in the past. So I can tell you right now, I'm going to prophesy here, and I'm going to tell you, we sacked Matt Ryan 3 times, for sure the Saints are winning. Now, we got to do it, and that didn't occur. But you look at the big track record. Because Matt Ryan, we almost associate Drew Brees, Matt Ryan, Drew Brees, how long they played. And there's a big enough sample size. Just look it up. When we've sacked Matt Ryan 3 times or more, the Saints win. They win convincingly, but when they don't get after him, Atlanta has a great chance to beat the Saints.
Right back to our Oakland Heart Jewelers talking text lines. We find Billy uptown. What's going on, Billy? You're on the New Orleans Saints Radio Network.
Yeah. Hey, why can't we roll Taysom Hill out?
Well, they had a few. They had a few plays where he was out the pocket. It wasn't like I want to say a few times like maybe it wasn't like every pass attempt, but I would say at least 3 or 4 times. Look, he had 28 passing attempts. I would say probably 4 of those reps, Billy, that he was out the pocket, a kind of a run-pass option type thing.
Yeah, he is not a drop-back quarterback. I mean, that is so obvious. And how can I see it and the genius of Sean Payton can't? That it just amazes me.
No, he sees it, Billy. It's just that.
What else is he going to do?
Yeah, you don't want to be, whether you're sprinting right or you're sprinting left because he's a right-handed quarterback, because then if you're a drop-back passer, if you truly know what you're doing as a passer, you can exploit the whole field. Where when you, let's say you're doing a sprint right, that would be Taysom Hill's strength because he's right-handed. Then you got half the field. You don't want him throwing way across his body. You don't have like a John Elway type arm or a Jeff George that would do those crazy type throws, they tell you never throw across the grain. So it just limits your options. And you could get away with a few plays like that. But if you keep doing that, the NFL is too good to think you just could sprint out quarterbacks and win that way. To truly be an NFL quarterback, and let's say you have a sample size and you're starting and defenses have film on you, if you're starting a month, like 4 or 5 games, and they get film on you, you better be able to throw in the pocket, climb the pocket, have a pocket presence. And sometimes I think Taysom doesn't have that. He'll end up taking sacks. Now, Taysom's fine when you tell him, okay, we're running. You just freaking run. And then he does outstanding. I think what he has to ad-lib is not so much like Lamar Jackson or the Cardinals quarterback, Kyler Murray, where they could kind of ad-lib and be more productive than Taysom in that area. But if Taysom's going to be the quarterback for the future, Billy, he has to be able to make plays in the pocket, or he's just going to be a gadget for us. He's going to be like a Swiss Army knife, jack of all trades, where he's going to be a big part of the offense as far as the red zone, trying to get a first down, and have plays that he will compensate and help the offense as the H-back, a slot receiver, a quarterback now and then, power runs. But he's not going to be that pure NFL quarterback unless he could throw from the pocket. Billy, just look at all the teams. And I'm talking about Taysom Hill, all the quarterbacks throughout the National Football League. It's not like maybe when you were in high school or I was playing, well, you had sprint out right, sprint out left. No, I'm not saying you can't do those plays, but that can't be your passing offense throughout the game. You might do that at most a handful of times, if not 3 or 4. You understand what I'm talking about, Billy? That Taysom, even though you might think that's his strength, and it is his strength, the NFL defenses are too good to continuously do that.
Yeah, no, I totally understand it. Hey, it looks like Dallas got kind of hosed at the end.
I didn't see the play. What happened?
Yeah, I didn't see what happened. I know the Cardinals came out on top. What happened?
There was a fumble with 2:03 left that the Cardinals gave it up, and they said he was down, and the booth did not signal down, and the Dallas Cowboys didn't have any timeouts left to challenge it. It was egregious, though. It was a big mistake by the refs.
A lot of that going on.
Well, the only thing, Billy, you cannot have that. To me, the fans, they're too smart now. If it's so obvious, you got to get the call right. You just have to. All the money that's involved.
Jobs are
jobs, the money involved. But, Billy, what we need right now is, I hate to say this, hell with the Cowgirls. But I'm like, come on, go Dallas. Go Big D. You got to beat the Eagles next week.
Bobby pulling for the Cowboys?
Yes, I'm pulling for Dallas because we have to have the Eagles lose. I'm telling you, that's going to be significant if the Saints are in the postseason. Dallas has to beat Philly next weekend.
He's Bobby. I'm Christian. It's the point after. Coming to your calls next. Saints win 18-10 over the Carolina Panthers. Now 8-8 on the season. One more to go in the regular season next Sunday or perhaps Saturday against the Atlanta Falcons. We'll fill you in. This is the point after on the New Orleans Saints Radio Network. Back here on the point after here on the New Orleans Saints Radio Network. Saints win 18-10 over the Carolina Panthers. Bobby Hebert, Christian Garrick. Saints defensive end Cam Jordan had a heck of a game, 3.5 sacks. His post-game interview is brought to you by the Hood Automotive Group, everything automotive under one hood.
Hey, Cam, a couple weeks ago, I think you had 4 sacks on the season, and now 3 weeks later, you got 11.5. I guess what's gotten into you these last couple of weeks, man?
Look, it's like the stocks, it's self-corrections. When I think about it's a season, it's a marathon. It ain't a short sprint. And at the end of the day, early this year, again, I was missing Marcus. I was missing David Onyemata. Once my D-line came back, we came back strong. When you're catching those double teams, those triple teams early on in the season, it can bog you down. Marcus comes back, starts getting a little bit of pressure, starts getting some sacks. They can no longer, focus on just me. David Onyemata comes back, they can no longer just focus on me and Marcus. And that's where you see the change. I mean, it's a full-blown push from the entire D-line. I mean, Carl Granderson really turned it on in the middle of the stretch, and that's honestly where you see the change. We've always played the run well, and that's why I've never just looked at just sack numbers. Look at my entire game. I play first down, I play second down, I play third down, I play fourth down, I play overtime, I play whatever it takes to win. And that's the same thing that goes through Marcus. That's the same thing that goes to David Onyemata. The same thing that goes to Demario Davis. Don't just look at one facet of our game. I mean, we try and play a complete game. We're not just edge rushers. We're edge defenders. And I think that goes a little bit farther than just sacks. Also, double digits.
With the sacks coming in bunches these last couple of weeks, man. I mean, what's
continue?
Well, I mean, do you feel like you have found something here in these last couple of weeks with that? I mean, is it just as simple as you having a healthy defensive line, or is there something that you're doing better as well?
I think my D-line coach, Ryan Nielsen, has done a phenomenal job of just cooling me down. Because, I mean, there's so much that I want to do in a game. It's just take the breather, realize that, once the D-line is attacking at full speed, they can't just focus on one person. Again, once the D-line got healthy, I'm going to give it up to the entire D-line and the work that we've put in from Ringo to Shai Tuttle to Malcolm Roach to my guy Albert Huggins. I mean, we bring in Jalen earlier this year. Sharif came in. Hell, last week we had 2 defensive linemen come in on a Sunday to play on a Monday game. I mean, what we do on the defensive line, the way we attack practice, the way we push each other to be better. That's where I see real culture. That's why I don't worry about the sack numbers. You guys can worry about sack numbers. I'm trying to worry about this win column. We'll talk about accolades, sacks, and everything else after the season. What's important to me is pushing my D-line to be the best that they can be.
Nick Underhill.
Kim, just kind of earlier in the season, just the doubts about the defensive line and all the chatter, and I'm sure you heard it. And, being who you've been for the last decade, people are kind of talking about stuff. Is it a little more satisfying just having this breakout and just kind of being able to remind people who you are?
He said breakout.
Well, not breakout, but you know what I mean? Like just
it is what it is. Again, I don't play for fans. I play for what I've always played for. I mean, I've got nothing but love for this game. And again, I didn't come in a sack master. I didn't come in a touted just pure pass rusher. I came in to play the run. So my run, as long as my hands are here, like my teammates will tell you, somebody's gonna get blessed. I'm not really, again, sacks are phenomenal. I think that's an amazing aspect of the game. But I'm not here just to play third down. I'm here for the first down. I'm here for the veer traps. I'm here for the powers. I'm here for tosses. I'm not worried about chatter from people who may not know all aspects of the game. But you put me across offensive lineman, you put me across, any D coordinator, they're going to tell you the same thing. We're a force to be reckoned with. And I tell the D line the same thing as well. Look, it starts up front with us. If we take over the game, there's not much that anybody can do. And that's the way we've tried to play each and every game. You may not have 7, 8 sacks a game, but what we will do is affect the quarterback. We will, keep the run under 4 minus the Philadelphia game. I mean, we've got some of the best run stop numbers in the game. And there's a reason for that. We don't just play third down. We play first, second, third. We play first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter. We play overtime. We play on a Saturday bumped up. We play on a Monday bumped back. It doesn't matter where or when. We're always looking to be our best and attack everything that we can. Once we have a high execution of the game plan, that's all that matters.
Breakout's definitely the wrong phrase, but it's a flurry. It's something. I mean,
you said it. You said it. You did this.
Hey, I'm talking words just come out.
Luke.
Hey, Cam, do you think defensively y'all are really hitting your stride here the last couple of weeks of the season? I mean, I know y'all played well defensively all year, but like especially.
Would you say a breakout? Is that the term we're just going to use at this point?
Let's go ahead and just throw it out there, man. Are y'all breaking?
I think honestly, with what our defense has been able to do the last 4 years has been nothing short of phenomenal in terms of stopping the run. I think that the way our DBs have been playing. They've stepped up their game. They elevated the play this last back quarter of the year. And everything that we want to do starts off with, Marshawn Lattimore to young Adebo playing the way he did. I think that was a chippy call at the end of this game, but that just is what it is. Our ability to play through, fight through. You talk about Chauncey, Gardner, Ducey, Johnson, CD, him, to PJ, to Malcolm. I mean, there's no higher praise that I can give to our entire defense. I mean, I could sit here and talk for hours about how special these guys are. And it's that focus, that drive that we take to practice. I mean, we're big juice boys. I mean, you ain't seen it much, but it's always there. That juice is going to spill. And our cup overflows with enthusiasm on the sidelines. It is what it is. I think that, we knew going into this year, we wanted to be a force. We've been saying that for the last 3 or 4 years. And I think it's showing. That's all you're seeing is the combination of hard work.
Brett Martell.
Cam, how would you just over the last month really describe the vibe on this team where you were 5-7 and now you've won 3 out of 4 with the one loss, coming when you had the roster sort of decimated? And just your feeling or gratification on how the team has responded since 5-7 to get where you are going into week 18.
I mean, we talk about the tenacity of our team. You talk about the ability, the perseverance of our team. I mean, our coaches have winning mentalities. I mean, every time we win, lose, or draw, they're always trying to teach lessons. And I think that's a huge thing for us. I think that, our leaders in our defense, I think leaders in our offense, that's really what pushes. You look at guys like AK, you look at Demario Davis, you look at myself, Malcolm. It's steady, it's calm, it's never being shaken. Again, this is a sprint. And at this point, we've kept ourselves into the battle of trying to get to the playoffs, and that's what we have to do. We have to finish that off. Whatever we've done to this point means nothing. Next week is everything for us.
Last question here, Rod Walker.
Cam, this is going to be kind of an odd question, but was it weird not having the Who Dat chant before the game? And do you know what happened with that?
There was no Who Dat chant? It was, you know what? Things happen. And in fact, as a longest tenured Saints player, I'm going to take that for right now. It'll be corrected next home game.
But did you notice that they didn't do it? I mean, was it?
I'm locked in. I'm locked in. Like I said, I'm gonna take the blame for that. Who Dat Nation? I'm sorry. Lo siento para mí. I'll do better.
Saints All-Pro defensive end Cameron Jordan there. They did not do the Who Dat chant to start the game.
What, are you trying to mix it up maybe, Christian?
No, I think he told you. They just forgot.
Well, they forgot it. I don't know. Forget again. When you win, you're superstitious about it.
That's a tradition now. That is now become a tradition.
The thing is, we were 1-6, and then now you're 2-6 the last 8 games in the Dome. All I know is, and this could happen, Cam Jordan, out of all the teams, obviously a division opponent because you play him the most, he's had the most sacks against Matt Ryan than any quarterback in the National Football League. Well, Cam, have another 2 for or 3 for. Can you imagine he'd have 13.5, 14.5 sacks? Boy, talking about finishing strong. Cam Jordan's capable of doing that. Again, if he has help, it doesn't matter. Even if he gets 1, somebody else get 2. We got 1-1-1. Somebody else help him out. Getting Matt Ryan down 3 times, there's no way we're losing.
He's Bobby Hebert. I'm Christian Garrett. Coming back to your calls when we return on The Point After on the New Orleans Saints Radio Network. Back here on The Point After on the New Orleans Saints Radio Network. Right back to our Oak and Hart Jewelers talk and text lines. Let's go to Carter in LaPlace. What's going on, Carter? You're on the New Orleans Saints Radio Network.
Hey, guys. I just wanted to ask a question. Why do the Saints run the ball every first down, it seems? They only, I think, threw it one time, one first down.
Well, but that's because they don't have. I can tell you that's. But Carter, that hasn't been the case with Drew Brees. I think it's almost that trying to help out the quarterback, not necessarily having confidence in the passing game, because then if it's incomplete, it's 2nd and 10. Versus if they can run, if they can run and get like maybe 2nd and 6. Or some now. If it's 2nd and 9, 2nd and 10, you might as well have passed the football. But Carter, that's what
the team's lining up against them know they're going to run it between the tackles on first down. You can see it.
Yeah,
Carter,
well,
I can tell you right now
they got
that-
8 in the box, right?
Carter, I can tell you right now that some of it had to do with the fact that, and I don't think they ran on every first down, but I'll take your word for it. I'll take your word for it. But anyway, do you remember this Panthers front? Look what they did to Taysom Hill tonight. But remember the first matchup? They got after Jameis Winston. I mean, so my point is that's Sean Payton's way of slowing down that rushing attack.
And you don't want them to pin their ears back and we're having negative yards after first down and trying to at least go forward now. We weren't going forward in the first half, Carter. We had like a -4 yards rushing. So now we did better in the second half. But the teams, why would you fear the Saints passing game? Now, you look at Callaway had a chance without the drops. He had over 100 yards receiving. So, it's going to be the same thing against Atlanta. They could say, well, you know what? The one thing we cannot do is let the Saints run on us. So we want to force Taysom Hill to beat us with his arm. So they're going to try, Carter, and stack up the line, first down against Kamara. So in your point, so Sean would see that. If they have 8 in the box, whatever. Now, if you had Drew Brees, there'd be no question. We would never run. We would never run on first down. Now, you might have Michael Thomas or different weapons that you know are going to win the one-on-one, but then it's a chess match. Okay, is my cover guy, defense is saying better than your receiver? And will the rush or whatever get there, the penetration, before you can have a positive play? So I think until proven differently, you're going to see Atlanta. Now, Sean might say, well, we're going to throw more in first down, but you got to convert. It can't be 2nd and 10, or you can't get sacked because they might say, well, you know what? We hard press, like beating our head against the wall. They got 8 in the box. We outnumbered. Even as great as Alvin Kamara is, I told you that, Christian. Alvin Kamara, it shows you the NFL. Man, they were snatching his low behind and just throwing him down. Now, when he got in space, outside the screen, outside, now you can see he can work magic. But as far as like a Earl Campbell, like bowling over people and running, come on, he's not that kind of back. And you don't have Ingram available. So, Carter, be interesting to see Sean's game plan against Atlanta because I think Atlanta's coming. Well, we cannot let him get off because Kamara got off against the Jets running the football. So make still Taysom Hill beat you with his arm and the passing attack. Whether that's Deontay Harris now in the fold, or that's Callaway, a little Jordan Humphrey, whatever it might be. I don't even say the tight ends. What do we even mention the tight ends? I'm trying to think. What our tight ends? Look, our tight ends. We had 1 catch for 4 yards. Well, that's blasphemy. In a Sean Payton offense, considering how we've utilized the tight ends in the past, this has been the most discouraging thing more than anything. Jared Cook, right now, it's like, why in the hell we ever get rid of Jared Cook? I know he fumbled in the playoffs against Tampa Bay, but none of these tight ends can even hold Jared Cook's jock as far as production. We have had no production at the tight end position this year.
Carter, thanks for the phone call. Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification here on the New Orleans Saints Radio Network. Right back to our Oakland Heart Jewelers talking text lines. Kenneth on a cell phone. Go ahead, Kenneth. You're on the New Orleans Saints Radio Network.
Happy New Year, guys.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Kenneth.
Hey, quick question. So I was at the game, and I was looking for Mark Ingram. Never saw him come in the game. What's his current status or future
He was
status?
inactive. He was inactive with an injury.
His knees hurt.
Okay.
Yeah. And we would need that 1-2 punch, I think, to spell Kamara and just the aggressive nature of Ingram, how he's falling forward, power running. Now, I know it was limited this season, but we missed that. Now, they might be thinking that hopefully we make the postseason and he's ready to roll after Atlanta. I don't know. I don't know where's his knees at. I don't know where Ramchek's knees at. Considering they didn't put him on IR, they thought he would be able to come back. Then I think he had a brace on and he was at practice and maybe he re-injured it.
No, he ended up on the COVID list.
But no, Christian, even without the COVID list, I'm telling you, I think he re-injured that knee. That it was much more than COVID why Ramchek was not out there.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? That
I know when he landed on that list last week, the COVID list.
Yeah.
But he didn't come. He came off of it, but still didn't play this week.
But if you look in theory, the games he did not play, you could have put him on IR, maybe brought someone else up. I think he had a setback when he was in practice and he tweaked something. So that's two significant players. If we wouldn't make the postseason, now you got to beat Atlanta, is that the leadership of two of these veteran players, hell yeah, you want them ready to play. Ingram and Ramczyk, for sure to complement the offense, what we're trying to do.
Kenneth, thanks for the phone call. Let's go to Brian in Thibodeau. What's going on, Brian? You're on the New Orleans Saints Radio Network.
Hey, Bobby.
Hey, Brian, what you got?
I was just wondering, because earlier you were talking about if, you made it seem like the Saints playoff hopes depended on the Eagles losing next week. I did a little research. I think that if the Eagles are kind of out of the picture, I think it comes down to us winning, obviously, and the 49ers having to lose
to the Rams, right?
That's correct. Because
and Minnesota losing tonight, along with the Saints win next week.
You have to have the Vikings lose tonight to the Packers. Yeah.
Yeah, we're assuming Minnesota's going to lose tonight. But if Minnesota loses tonight, you're down to 3 teams looking for 2 spots. And if it doesn't matter what Philly does, we have to win. And if the 49ers lose, we're going to ultimately have a better NFC record than the 49ers.
So us and the Eagles would get in, right?
That's correct. That's
Eagles
correct.
would slide up to 6,
and we would be
Saints
7.
would be 7.
We would be 7. That's right.
So you see that's even better scenario, Brian. Thank you for that. Than I even said.
Now you don't have to root for the Cowboys.
Yes. That's even better. So no, it's not far fetched when you think about it, and that's not backing into the playoffs. To me, backing into the playoffs is if you would be in this day and age, 17-game schedule, you're 8-9. To me, that's like to me, I don't know. It's not a losing record. But like the bowl games is all about money. Oh, we're going to a bowl, we're 6-6. Or whatever. But if you were ever 5-7 and you'd be so desperate because we need a bowl team. I think it happened one time where you had a bowl team because of COVID. There were 5 wins and they go to a bowl. Well, if you, 5-7 in college football, or if you 8-9 in the pros and you go to the postseason, only supposed to reward winning. Go to the playoffs. We can't get like where it's high school where everybody makes the playoffs. Come
Seattle,
on.
remember Seattle got to the playoffs at 7-9.
That's a bunch of BS.
Coming back,
if they were 7-9, they should have came to New Orleans instead of us having to go there.
Bobby Hebert, Christian Garrick will be back here on the Point After on the New Orleans Saints. Back here on the Point After, Bobby Hebert, Christian Garrick. Saints win 18-10 over the Carolina Panthers. Reminding you to shop Rouse's for king cakes. Rouse's Markets feels like home. Oakland Heart Jewelers talking text lines are open at 504-260-1870. Kenneth, no, we already had Kenneth. Andy in Alexandria, Virginia for the 3rd time. Go ahead, Andy. You're on the New Orleans Saints Radio Network.
Hey, guys. Who I said they're going to beat the Saints? Sorry about it earlier in the evening.
That's all right.
Yeah, thanks for calling, Andy. What you got?
No, wanted to ask Michael Thomas.
Andy, try to back away from the receiver on the phone. You're all muffled.
Sure.
Okay. Oh, that's a lot better.
Michael Thomas.
Yes.
Is he going to see any playing time with Atlanta game in the playoffs, or what does that optimistically look like?
He's not playing this year.
No, Michael Thomas would be more for the 2022 season. And my take on Michael Thomas, Christian, you can correct me if you think I'm wrong, or a scenario where it could come about. I think right now they want Michael Thomas to come back next season, whoever's the quarterback, and to help out.
Yeah.
And to do awesome, considering the amount of money we have invested in Michael Thomas. Now, beyond 2022 season, I would not be surprised because you might be trying to get some kind of draft capital back, considering maybe what you had to give up to get a certain quarterback or whatever it might take, and then you have value. Then, because you know what? To get the future quarterback, I think, with the Saints, you're going to have to give up something to get something. It's not just going to be pie in the sky and a traditional or draft pick that's going to work out. That we're going to draft that quarterback. Now, considering I think we have a win-now defense to possibly be in the hunt amongst the best in the NFC to win championships. The reason why I say that, simply by beating who I think, if not the best in the conversation, kicked off the season, and we kicked Aaron Rodgers behind in Green Bay. Beat Tampa Bay twice. Well, how did we win those Green Bay games in Tampa Bay? Because our defense.
Turnovers
So
and sacks.
I think we got a championship defense. So to get that trigger man in the future, you got to give up something to get something. I just don't know right now, Andy, that if you could like give up Michael Thomas now. Why would somebody give up anything for Michael Thomas? He had freaking played since the first game of the COVID season against Tampa Bay when he jacked up his ankle, had to have surgery in 2020. That's like ancient. Think how long ago that is, and then you're looking at the 2022 season. You're talking about so that would be 21. You talk about 2 seasons, exactly 24 months.
Well, he came back that year, had another.
Oh, no, that's right. He came back and he produced a little bit,
but he wasn't 100%.
But he wasn't 100%. But no, you got to see him rolling to truly come back and beat a Michael Thomas that was NFL Offensive Player of the Year, which I still think he's capable. Don't you think? Okay, this is what I think. Michael Thomas. I think that Michael Thomas is on your team, and you had a Russell Wilson at quarterback, you had an Aaron Rodgers at quarterback, or you had a Deshaun Watson. You don't think Michael Thomas is going to have success?
Sure he will.
He didn't forget how to play. Come on. I think Michael Thomas would get off with those quarterbacks like he got off with Drew Brees.
I would agree.
I mean,
the power play of the game brought to you by Caesars. Harrah's, New Orleans, a Caesars reward destination. Cam Jordan providing that power play.
3rd and 6 from the 29. The Panthers are 3 of 5 on 3rd down. 3 receivers to Darnold's left. Back to pass, middle of the pocket. He's got pressure, and he will go down. Cam Jordan again. Make it 3 straight games for Cam Jordan with back-to-back sacks, meaning 2 in his last 3 games. Nicely done by Cam. Loss of 7 yards, and that's how you get off the field.
Cam Jordan, 3.5 sacks today. He is on fire the last 3 games. Right back to our Oakland Heart Jewelers talking text lines we go. George in Monroe. What's going on, George? You're on the New Orleans Saints Radio Network.
Oh, not much, guys. Hey, I have a couple questions I want to ask y'all. Who was the running back? I think he didn't have but like 2 or 3 carries. The Prince guy, I think was his last name, or Pierce, or
no, he's the fullback. Prentice, he had 1 carry for 2 yards. I think we might have stuffed him the ball for 1 first down in short yardage.
He had a reception, too, in the flat.
Yeah, he had 1 for 4 yards. So he had 2 touches for 6 yards.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this. Where's Davenport at today?
He played.
He played. Now, Davenport, I think, he played his part. Now, he had that 1 fumble recovery, with P.J. Williams forced that fumble. P.J. Williams, that was a great pass rush as far as knocking the ball out with Sam Darnold. And then Davenport was able to recover that fumble. But Christian, he wasn't credited with no tackles for loss, no quarterback hurries, and no sacks. The ones that got after the quarterback, again, when you look at it, this would be basically on scheme. The reason why I say this, because besides Cam Jordan, all the sacks or the contributed sacks was either like a dog, which you'd be bringing a linebacker, or a defensive back on some type of stunt. Like Kwan Alexander had a half a sack one time with Cam Jordan. P.J. Williams, like I said, his sack it messed up Carolina's protection. You got to give Dennis Allen, the defensive coaches, a lot of credit. Scheming there. He had a sack that forced fumble. Heath, Christian, from Saginaw State, he's playing. That's a special teams guy. He's in there. He's the great white hope in there because you don't have Marcus Williams. Christian, I'm looking at a lot of people don't even know he had a couple of tackles, and he had a sack. He had a tackle for loss. So they were giving him opportunities. And then you had Chauncey Gardner-Johnson.
Is it Heath or Heat?
Well, Heath. Heath.
No, I'm just
H-E-A-T. You know what I'm talking about. From Saginaw.
Well, we just changed his name. He's Heat.
Yeah, Heat. Yeah,
bringing the heat.
He's bringing the heat. He's bringing the heat. But C.D. Deuce, Chauncey Gardner had a sack. So really, I think a lot of those sacks, when you look at, and that's a lot, Christian. Whenever you get more than 4 or 5, a lot is like confusing Tampa Bay, confusing Carolina's protection and scheme. Now, With Cam Jordan, then that was more traditional 4-man rush. That was just a butt whooping. But all those other guys contributed. That's definitely dialing up the right scheme at the right time.
One thing I'll point out, I'll add, George and Bobby, is while Davenport didn't have a great impact on the actual stat sheet, however, if you watch closely, they weren't able to just strictly double-team Cam. They had to pick their spots.
Without a doubt.
Davenport created some opportunities for Cam.
That's why Cam Jordan, the post-game press conference, he said, well, why all of a sudden you're getting all these sacks? Well, he did say it does help to have David Onyemata and Marcus Davenport in there. You remember at the beginning of the year, David Onyemata suspended for 6 games.
Mm-hmm.
And it is Davenport. I don't know. He's here. He's not here. Is he available or not? So you got nothing against Carl Granderson because those guys, they all get in the rotation. But when you put David Onyemata and Marcus Davenport, pick your poison. Who are you going to double team? Okay, you're going to focus on Davenport? Well, then Cam Jordan should win. You focus on Cam Jordan, then Davenport should win because you can't double team everyone.
George, thanks for the phone call. Jimmy in Gretna, what's going on, Jimmy? You're on the New Orleans Saints Radio Network.
Hey, how's it going, guys? Happy New Year's. And I wanted to say I hung out with Bobby Aber at the UNO basketball game Friday. Really smart guy. And I enjoyed that time with you, Bobby. But listen.
Well, you have a lot of wisdom. You have a lot of wisdom, Jimmy, just talking to you. Christian, Jimmy and I are both historians. It's amazing. We're watching a basketball game and talking about, like, world history and stuff.
Okay.
It was somebody was around us, Jimmy. They were thinking like with 2 nerds. Like, well, you had a basketball game. Why
what
you
does Jimmy look like, Bobby?
He's a good-looking guy. Christian,
I'm a good-looking dude. I made some kids. I got a wife. All that stuff, man.
Jimmy, I would say he does not have an ugly wife. I mean, he looked that good. I think he's that.
Thank you, Bobby.
Listen, I'm secure in my manhood. Jimmy's a good-looking guy. I would think he has a beautiful wife.
Thank you, man. And Bobby's securing his manhood. Look, listen, let me say this about Taysom Hill. I got to give him credit. Now, I'm not saying, and I want to say this to Christian, I'm not saying he's the answer at quarterback. However, he is now 6-2 as the starting quarterback for the Saints. Does that mean he's got a great deep ball? No. Does that mean he's a leader? Yes. Am I bagging on Winston in comparison, who is a 5-2 starter? No, I like Winston too. But when Winston fans call into the show and say Taysom Hill's not a quarterback, what is a quarterback, Christian and Bobby? Sometimes it's leadership. Sometimes it's grass stains on your outfit. Now, of course, we're indoors, but I've seen it. He's had blood on his outfit. I'm a big Taysom Hill fan.
Outfit? Uniform, Jimmy. It's a uniform, dude.
Hey, you're right. And look, all I'm saying is this. Am I saying he's the answer long-term? No. But I am saying this. Look, he's got 4 offensive linemen out, right? Pete, Ramczyk, McCoy,
Armstead.
And correct me if I'm wrong here, when Winston went 5-2, which was very good. Now, I like Winston. Keep that in mind. I didn't like seeing him get hurt. Okay? He had 2 of those guys during that 7-game span, Ramczyk and Armstead every game. So all I'm saying is, when Hill takes a sack and people start booing him or giving him a hard time, he's protecting the ball. He's done a really good job the last few games of not turning the ball over. And so I got to give Taysom credit where credit's due. I'm a big fan of his, and I like Winston too. I don't know what's going to unfold next year with the quarterback position. I'm hoping we make the playoffs, and I believe in Taysom Hill at quarterback. So, I mean, I just wanted to bring that up. Taysom Hill has a better winning percentage now than Jameis Winston. And I want to get your take on that because many people bag on him in comparison to Winston at quarterback.
Well, if we're going to have a chance, and we couldn't do it with the great Drew Brees, or first ballot Hall of Famer, we're not going to no damn Super Bowl with Taysom Hill or Jameis Winston at quarterback. I'm sorry to keep it real, but I think we have a championship defense. We would need an over-the-top quarterback. That's why I say like an Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, Deshaun Watson type. I don't even think, playing purely the quarterback position, I think Derek Carr, the Raiders quarterback, would do better under Sean Payton than Jameis Winston or Taysom Hill. Now, you can hate me or do whatever. Now, I want Taysom Hill to always be a part of that. But to say that he's going to guide us throughout the season and to be the guy. Now, with Jameis Winston, I think he's an NFL quarterback. Now, you could be an NFL quarterback and have a double-digit season. I'm not saying he's Chase Daniels or anything. No, he could play a long time. But to say he's going to hit that payday and bring a championship wherever he's going, he has a lot still to prove. Listen, who's going to give Jameis Winston the type money his people would want, considering what he did? It's a small sample size. They wouldn't give him anything going forward. The Saints would maybe like him at their price, but I'm telling you, we would not win a championship, I don't believe, with Taysom or Jameis at quarterback. As far as, I'm not saying playoffs. I think we've got a great chance to get to the playoffs, and Taysom being a big part of that. But I'm saying when you're trying to ultimately win the Super Bowl, we laid an egg a couple of times. When you look 2011, the greatest season maybe in Saints history. I'll never forget that. That year, we had 5 turnovers at San Francisco, 5 turnovers. And we were down by 17 points the second quarter. We take the lead twice under 5 minutes and we lost. Greg Williams was too hard-headed when we blitzed. It did not play the percentages. We made Alex Smith look like a first ballot Hall of Famer. And then we all know the Nolan no call. What happened with the Rams? You cannot tell me we wouldn't have scored more than 3 points against the Patriots like the Rams did. I think that's where our seasons, and it was because we had a quarterback like Drew Brees at the helm. I think we have to have that kind of impactful player going from the next decade. Now in the 2022, going forward, the quarterbacks we have, I think Taysom's going to be a big part in the offense where we have invested in him, but not necessarily the quarterback. I think with Jameis, I'd be surprised if he's around because he thinks he might be able to get a little more money somewhere else. But as far as the quarterback next year, I still don't think he's on the team.
He's Bobby Hebert. I'm Christian Garrick. Saints win 18-10 over the Carolina Panthers. This is the Point After on the New Orleans Saints Radio Network. 18-10, Saints win over the Carolina Panthers. Back here on the Point After on the New Orleans Saints Radio Network, along with the Cajun Cannon, Bobby Hebert. I'm Christian Garrick. The Diamond in the Rough performance of the game, presented by Friend and Company. You have a friend in the jewelry business, and it's going to be Marquez Callaway, much to Bobby's maybe chagrin, just because he did have three drops, but he also had 6 receptions for 97 yards, would have went over 100. Excuse me.
And Christian, he made the tough catches. It was when the easy ones. To me, when you make the tough ones, that's a reaction. That's one thing, like you look at number of games and you see like a 50-50 ball or a contested throw. And then as a Saints fan, you might watch some other NFL game. You go like, damn. You watch throughout the season, whether it's Kenny Stills or a number of receivers, like, damn, we don't never make those kind of catches to help out the quarterback. Contested throws, 50-50 balls. And I think Callaway, I think Lil Jordan Humphreys as of late. But then Callaway, come on, 3 drops that you have to make if you're going to be a top-notch receiver. But the one receiver, Mike Detillier would agree with this, could be in the top 5 or 6. Now, he was checked out. He was maybe thinking of the holidays, Christmas and New Year's. DJ Moore. Christian, he volleyball spiked one throw, and he got targeted 8 times, only 3 catches for 29 yards, 10-yard average. That's a guy they counting on. Now, that would be, DJ Moore would be the Michael Thomas of that team to help Sam Darnold, like Michael Thomas would be for the quarterback. So DJ Moore, Coach Rule and Tepper, I would challenge DJ Moore. Are you going to be a pro and finish the season at a high level? Because DJ Moore, now it might be a lot to do with the Saints defense. I'm looking when he did have some success or when he didn't. He was going against Paulson and Debo. It wasn't necessarily against Lattimore, when they maybe the matchups and what's going to occur. But I know the Panthers got to be extremely disappointed in DJ Moore, considering he had 80-plus catches coming into this game. I want to say closer to 90 and over 1,000 yards. And he didn't show up today, Christian.
He did not. I agree. All right, Taysom Hill, Saints quarterback, today, 17-28, 222 yards in the air, 1 touchdown, a quarterback rating of 97.6. He spoke to the media after the Saints win over the Panthers.
Hey, Taysom, the last two games you started, Marquez has had probably two of his biggest games. Just what kind of a rapport have you guys developed over the last couple of weeks you've been starting in there?
I mean, this goes back to training camp. We'd had so many conversations about Quez, since July, and so this doesn't feel unfamiliar for me. Quez is a guy that I trust, and you just got to give him opportunities, and I'll continue to do that, and he'll continue to make plays.
Mike Triplett.
Jason, this is also the second straight game you started where the defense has played outstanding. How much of an asset is the way they played against Tampa Bay and again today for you as a quarterback?
Yeah, I mean, this is not new either. Our defense has been outstanding all season long. So as an offense, you got a great defense that's playing very well, and you take care of the ball and create long fields, and that's part of the team game of football and what we do. So I'm not surprised, but again, my hat goes off to them. It's a great effort from start to finish. And as you mentioned, they're such a great asset as a quarterback to feel like you don't need to press or you don't need to push, knowing that those guys are going to prevent a lot of points from being scored.
Amy Just.
Yeah, on the intentional grounding call, did you get, I mean, that was kind of a strange sequence there with the refs taking a lot of time to try to figure that out. Did you get an explanation as to why that was taking so long and all of that?
No, I didn't get an explanation there. But, I figured it was intentional grounding. I was trying to throw it away to Quez on the backside, and I thought that we had a receiver in the area, but they obviously didn't.
Sean Bazan.
Hey, Jason. The drive before halftime, how big was that? I know you guys were pinned back pretty deep, so able to kind of break through there and get some points before the half.
Yeah, that was a huge drive for us. We knew that we got the ball at half, and you're starting on your 1-2 yard line. You don't want to do anything stupid, especially knowing you're getting the ball. So, but when you can score before the half and then get the ball to start the next half, it's the stealing points and stealing possessions, and I think that was big for us as an offense, in terms of momentum as well.
Doug Mouton.
Yeah, Taysom, you guys obviously had to win for next week to matter. How good does it feel just to live to play for another day?
Yeah, look, coach challenged us from day one this week. We came in, started Thursday this week, and he challenged us, told us a playoff week, we got to win. And I felt like the preparation from Thursday to the game day and all around the team, the coaches, everyone was locked in and certainly had the right mindset.
Luke Johnson.
Yeah, Taysom, on that 2-minute drive, I think you guys started that up with, or you got that really going with the big play to Marquez. Can you kind of take me through what you saw there and with your trust that you have in him, like how much does that come out in those 2-minute type situations?
Yeah, well, I thought it was just man press outside. I knew I had a one-on-one matchup with Quez, and my mindset being backed up, I didn't want to hold the ball, so I was just going to let him, give him a ball that he could go in high point and make a play, and it was either a incomplete ball. But again, you look at Quez and what he's done. I mentioned training camp and all that stuff, but he makes plays when you give him opportunities, and so that was really my mindset, and he got the drive started.
Saints quarterback Taysom Hill after the 18-10 win. What did you think of Taysom Hill overall today, Bobby?
I thought he got better as the game progressed. I thought he was more composed. When you thought we backed up that back shoulder throw, that's about as good as it gets. But, it's almost sometimes that you make that type play, you got to do that not once a game. You might have to make that 3 or 4, if not 5 times. Now, I thought 2 of his best plays, having Deontay Harris back to start even the second half, plus 14 yards. There was 2 plays in the passing game to Deontay Harris that I thought was as good as it gets. And he had 2 catches for 23 yards, 2 targets, 14-yard was that long gain. Christian, I thought those were high-quality NFL throws that you'd expect from the Aaron Rodgers, whoever you think like is the best of the best in the NFL. When you watch an NFL game and you think whether it's Herbert or whether it's Joe Burrow or whether it's Aaron Rodgers, whoever you might view as the best of the best, I look at that back shoulder throw that he threw to Callaway. We were backed up. Christian, is like either you're going to a completion or incompletion, but then you backed up by how significant when you're trying to flip the field position, and the 2 passes to Deontay Harris. Again, that was 3 outstanding completions. Now, you might want to do that instead of like 3 times, do that, 8, 9, 10 times a game. And then you're amongst the best, and it's harder than you think. But he's capable of doing that, but I just don't know how he processes stuff because I was telling you, I was like, what is Taysom looking at? It might have been a sack, Christian, that he took, and now he's looking somewhere else. The guy's right open in front of him.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what his progression was. So, see, that I don't know how it's clicking, and he's getting more and more experience. All I know is we had a few texts, Christian. All I know is that Taysom Hill's a warrior and he's a football player.
He's tough. He's still in the pocket today.
All I know is you want him on your team because he'll help you win.
Big Joe, Easy, Mike, Kenneth, and you two at 504-260-1870. Saints win 18-10 over the Carolina Panthers. This is the Point After here on the New Orleans Saints Radio Network. Bobby and Christian back here on the Point After on the New Orleans Saints Radio Network. Bobby, what tickles your fancy on the text line, man?
Well, this might be Jameis Winston's cousin or some fan in the Big Easy, or because it's a 985 number, so he's local. But this is 5446. Jameis Winston can take a good offensive line to the dance, bro. You are a Looney Tune, Bobby. Yeah, I'd say I am a Looney Tune. But then when he goes on to say there are many NFL teams, I like for you to tell me which NFL teams are. When you say many, many means a lot. There are many NFL teams that would gladly, with a capital G, take Jameis Winston off the Saints' hands and pay him more than the Saints. What do you mean by more? Like 20+ million? Because that's what Jameis wants. He hasn't played enough. He's a starting quarterback and would be successful with a good offensive line, period. Yeah, I'm not saying he cannot have success, but you're confident that Jameis Winston is going to bring you to a Super Bowl? I mean, it was basically the same team. You might say players here and there, but did Tom Brady have more success? Now, you're talking about the GOAT. Did Tom Brady have more success than Jameis Winston throwing to Michael Evans and Chris Godwin? And you look how that team was structured. Okay, would you say that Jameis Winston can hang with Tom Brady? I know that's not a fair assessment, but Tom Brady finally brought a championship to Tampa Bay. So to say Jameis is not an NFL quarterback, I'm not saying that. To say he's going to bring the Saints to the promised land, I think that's wishful thinking. Now, I think the Saints would be interested in Jameis Winston at their price, not at Jameis's price. And he is damaged goods, so when you're coming back from an injury, the Saints would bring in Jameis Winston to compete for a starting job, but they just wouldn't hand him the job, considering it's too small of a sample size going forward. Now, Jameis might want to go somewhere else, but when you say there are many NFL teams that would gladly take Jameis Winston off the Saints' hands, I want you to call or text me who those teams are and who would gladly pay Jameis Winston what he wants or what his representatives want. And I think Jameis Winston's a good guy. But that doesn't mean anything. Like, you could be a jerk. Are you winning or are you losing? That's the bottom line. Look, Jameis Winston had nothing to write home about when they played Carolina. Remember the first time in Carolina, he looked like more to Jameis Winston in Tampa. Now, he bounced back from that and played outstanding. So you're going to have games here or there. And I never said Taysom Hill was the answer, right? What have I said, Christian? The quarterback in the future is not even on the team now. If the Saints truly want to win a Super Bowl. That's what I've said.
You can look around the league. Will somebody take him? Sure. Would a handful of teams, perhaps like, I don't know, the Pittsburgh Steelers, who might have a retiring Ben Roethlisberger? Maybe.
But
there's not many.
Do you think the Steelers would pay him, though, over $20-some million right now? No, it'd still be like a highly incentive-laden and a prove-it type deal.
Yeah, 1 year.
Okay,
$6-7 million.
If I could say, Christian, if I can recall, and you can correct me, you're on top of these contract things. that, okay, when all of a sudden he wanted to be the tutelage of Drew Brees and Sean Payton, Pete Carmichael, Coach Lombardi. Remember that whole meeting? It was like going to Harvard, going to Ivy League school. Okay, I'm willing to take a real huge hometown discount and take $1 million. Okay, so he did that. So he was learning, and then he had opportunity. But, Christian, I don't think he even made double-digit millions. What was it like with the Saints, 7 or 8 million, whatever? It wasn't 20-plus million. If you start in the NFL, for instance, just goes to show you, Sam Darnold, the Panthers on the hook considering expectation where he was drafted. They're on the hook because they picked up his fifth-year option. Carolina got to pay Sam Darnold $16 million whether he plays or not, because there's too many question marks. You got question marks with Jameis. Jameis and his people might say, well, look all the yardage Jameis has thrown for. That doesn't mean jack. It's where are you at now coming back from an injury? Are they willing to invest 20-plus millions? Okay, who would you say as of late who has more skins on the wall? Teddy Bridgewater or Jameis Winston?
As of late, Teddy Bridgewater.
Right? And as he hit like, look at Teddy Bridgewater. Now, look at Denver. Is Denver convinced they want to go with Teddy Bridgewater in the future? No, he might. He might be a well-paid travel journeyman. Saints, Carolina, Denver, who knows? But you know what? He brings stability. He brings stability because he's a winner. Now, that might cost 20-plus million because he brings that stability. It depends how your team is structured and what direction you want to go. So this might be his cousin in New Orleans, but whoever you are, 54-46, man, you being too much of a Winston Homer to make those type of statements. It's not a big enough sample size in a Saints uniform.
Back to our Oak and Hart Jewelers talk and text lines. Big Joe in Houston. What's going on, Big Joe? You're on the New Orleans Saints Radio Network.
Hey, guys. Thanks for taking my call. Love your show. Thing about Taysom, give him a quick shout-out for a great 2-minute drive at the end of the first half and a great drive to help Kamara score the touchdown. Hill's the type of guy where he'll never have to wait for a table in a restaurant in New Orleans, and he'll never get seated in a table in Austin because of what he did to the Longhorns. Guy ran a 60-yard touchdown from the quarterback position with a knee brace. So, I mean, the guy's got heart, he's got grit, and the thing that really helped him out, I think, was really loosening the playbook in the second half. When you got 8 guys in the box and you hand it off to Kamara, I don't care if it's Russell Wilson, Dave Wilson, or Aaron Rodgers, you're not going to get anything. Kamara didn't get much rushing yards. I mean, Taysom had more rushing yards than Kamara.
Well, so Big Joe, I think that's kind of the wheelhouse. You don't want Taysom to be in a situation where we're having to play catch up if it's close to the cup, so to speak, Christian, where, it's one score. You can still stick with your game plan. It's not like you're double digit. You got to play catch up. I would not look like Taysom, and a lot of quarterbacks in the NFL, I don't want him throwing like 40 to 50 times. Even Drew Brees, that's not normally a winning formula. If you can get like Taysom threw 28 passes, completed 17. I think that's about right. Christian, 28 Big Joe or the 32, I think that strategy is about right. If you look at yards attempt, it's like right on the 8 yards, 7.9. That's winning football compared to like Sam Darnold. If you look at his yards per attempt was 5.1. That is not enough when you consider. And now he only had 132 yards, 17 or 26. But I think with Taysom, that's going to be the case in Atlanta come Sunday. If we're able to keep a defense off balance and Taysom's throwing the high 20s or low 30s, I think he can be productive, and that's the right number.
Bobby, I can't remember a time under Sean Payton where they were 28 passes and 28 rushing attempts.
Yeah, you talk about balance.
Complete balance. That's 50-50.
Yeah, and in theory, that's what you want to do. It never usually occurs, but that's what you're trying to do in theory. Now, if you have a first ballot Hall of Famer like a Drew Brees, it might be more like 60-40. But you should never. The NFL is too good defensively. You should never. I don't care if you got Pat Mahomes and all that. It's going to catch up with you sooner or later. Let's say your ratio was like 70-30. I'm telling you, it's not winning football. All NFL teams will tell you that. I don't care how steadily or how efficient they are offensively. They would say, well, Andy Reid, whoever it might be, to go, well, you know what? God, we got to run the ball a little more. We throwing it a little too much. You never want to be like, it would be, Christian, you run 10 plays. Okay, we want 6 passes, 4 rushes. Not 7 passes, 3 rushes. If it's more like 70%, a lot of times you're playing catch up. Now, even if you lay the hammer down and you pass a lot at the beginning and you get a lead, then you bring it back and you eat up some clock and you run the ball. But more Big Joe, a 60-40 than 70-30. So Sean Payton with Taysom Hill throwing the ball, high 20s, low 30s, I think that's the right formula.
He's Bobby. I'm Christian. It's the Point After here on the New Orleans Saints Radio Network. All right, back here on the Point After, Saints linebacker Demario Davis spoke to the media after the 18-10 victory over the Carolina Panthers.
And DeMario, CJ kind of referenced this a second ago, but are y'all at your best defensively when Cam's playing the way he did today?
Oh, most certainly. He's proven that he's one of the most effective defensive ends in the game from a run standpoint and a pass standpoint. Just the ability to wreak havoc on the offense. And so certainly when he's playing the way he's been playing, it affects the offense tremendously. Just as far as their run game, they can't get on track. Having to account an extra guy for him in the pass game, and just a tremendous performance by him. The rest of our defensive line, tremendous performance by the guys on the back end, and we certainly have to have that type of play, coming down the stretch.
Amy Just.
Yeah, kind of same type of question, but about CJ. He was super involved today as well. Just how key was he today?
My coach says it every week. Our big time players have to play big, and so for him to play the way that he did today, just phenomenal effort. Again, another player that's effective in the run game and the pass game. When they run his way, he's able to trigger and make plays in the backfield as well as in the pass game, just being able to take the ball away. Phenomenal effort by him and the rest of the guys on the back end, holding what could be an explosive offense to limited plays was just phenomenal on everyone's part.
Jeff Duncan.
DeMario, Taysom Hill said that Coach Payton challenged you all this week to kind of treat this week and game like a playoff game. And what was the mindset like from the locker room going into this week?
I think that's our mentality, especially these last 2 weeks. It's playoffs for us because in the playoffs, it's must win. It's win or go home, and we're in that type of situation. And so understanding that is the challenge. It's a must-win game. It's something that we embrace and don't run away from. And to be able to come in against a good opponent and find a way to win when we know it's at stake was good. And we got to do the same thing next week and from here on out. That's our mindset. It's must win. And so that can be beneficial for us in where we're trying to go. And so we just got to make the most of it.
Doug Mouton.
Yeah, DeMario, just to follow up on that, with everything you guys have been through this season, how proud are you of the fact that you head into the last game with a shot at getting to the playoffs?
I think there's no words to express and how proud I am to be a part of a culture like this one, a team like this, a coaching staff like this, all my brothers in the locker room, for the journey that we've been through this season, very unique, a lot of adversity, and what could make a lot of people, maybe fold or hang it up. But this team has been resilient, has continued to fight the entire time. And to be going into our last week of the season, playing meaningful football, that's all you can hope for. The thing you want in this game is a chance. And with that chance, it's all about what you do with it. And for us to be going into the last week of our season and having a chance to chase the crown is remarkable. In regards to all that we've been through. And like I said, there's no culture, team, or anything that I'd rather be a part of than this unit right now, going into the last week of the season. And so certainly excited for the opportunity at hand.
Mike Triplett.
Mario, I had one other one for you, but just to follow up on what you were saying, you listed the coaching staff among that. We talk about coach of the year all the time. How impressive is this staff, especially since you had to use another one of them to win one of those games a couple weeks ago?
Yeah, I think about it certainly starts at the top, you know, with Sean in the way that he leads and guides us. And, you know, that entire offensive staff that he's over there with, and the injuries and all the things that they've had to deal with and overcome, all the shifting that has had to take place. I remember early in the season, you know, we only had like 4 offensive coaches, I think, in one game. But then when you look at the special teams and Riz and Phil, you know, Riz missing a game and Phil having to step in, and, you know, the way they continue to coach guys, that, you know, Pro Bowl and all pro players on the special teams unit. And then when you come to the defensive side, and everyone can see the level that the defense has played at, that begins with DA, but also goes down to Ryan in that front, Mike, the way he has it, and stays on us at linebackers, and Chris on the back end. And so when you look at all the different things that have had to take place this season and how the coaches have continued to shift around and continue to find a way to get, no matter what guys on the field, to play at a high level, us to be able to have a shot at the end of the year. You know, I think you got to give credit where credit is due, and a lot of that is them. You know, not taking away from the players on the field, but the coaches have been a big part of that success.
Last one here, Rod Walker.
Hey, Mario, I know we've asked you this before throughout the season, but how much does this defense just sort of embrace having to, you know, carry as much of the load as y'all have to carry this season?
I don't know if it's about carrying an extra load. I think that's just the mindset of the team, and our culture is you do whatever you have to do to win games, and we always play the game that's in front of us. And I think for a greater percentage of the time, you know, that I've been here, you know, there was games where offense was scoring, you know, so many points, and we just had to try to figure out a way to get a stop. And you know, it's been games where defense has had to get more stops. And so I think our culture for this team is find a way to win the game. And if that means that we have to go out and pretty much pitch a shutout, then we embrace that opportunity. That's our job. Our job is that regardless, is to go on the field and get stops, get our offense the ball, and, you know, help control field position. And so we just play the game that's in front of us. That's our culture. That's our team. But I don't think any unit is ever looking at we have to carry the load. And I think that's why we've had so much success over the years. It's that team, it's that camaraderie, it's that brotherhood. And it's, you know, I'm gonna do my part as best I can to help the team be in the best position to win. And we're successful when we find a way to do that.
Saints linebacker Demario Davis following the 18-10 victory over the Carolina Panthers. We're still getting some details, Bobby, on the Antonio Brown situation. So apparently Bruce Arians told him to get in the game twice. He refused. That led to a bit of the blow up where he literally took his shoulder pads off and jersey off.
So why did he refuse to go in the game?
I don't know. I think
he thought Tom Brady should be throwing him the ball more.
That hasn't been
been revealed. Okay.
So we most of you maybe have seen the video where he's undressing on the sideline. All he goes shirtless, throws his T-shirt into the stands, walks into the locker room. I mean, he's like hyping up the fans, you know, as he's walking into the locker room.
No, Antonio Brown's an idiot. I don't care if you're white, black, Asian, whatever. Antonio Brown's an idiot. What is he doing? He's not – okay, if you're playing tennis or you're playing golf, you're playing individual sport, you're playing a team sport. Antonio Brown – he needs to thank his lucky stars that Tom Brady brought him on a championship team with Tampa Bay. Tom Brady was counting on him because Chris Godwin's out. Now Antonio Brown, well, what are you doing? No, he got issues, Christian, and I'm not poo-pooing this because, a number of people deal with bipolar. I think you get the high of the highs and the low of the lows, Antonio Brown. He needs some help. You know, it's a bad thing. He may not have that earning power going forward in the NFL again because he's crazy. Antonio Brown is freaking crazy.
He was headed towards a Hall of Fame career before he derailed in Pittsburgh. Crazy stuff.
No, Christian, you can't describe the stuff he does and how he interacts. Just look back what he even did before he got another chance with Tampa Bay with the Raiders.
Mm-hmm.
Just look at that debacle, what he did. Come on, they're not going to baby you, dude. Grow up. Come on, you're old enough. You're old enough, man, to have help. But, I mean, Christian, he's a brat. He is a spoiled brat, Antonio Brown. He's never been in the real world. He might not have it to be in the real world, but the real world might not be the NFL in the future for him.
He's Bobby Hebert. I'm Christian Garrick. This is The Point After on the New Orleans Saints Radio Network. Back here on The Point After on the New Orleans Saints Radio Network. Saints win 18-10 over the Carolina Panthers. Also up in Green Bay, the Vikings are trailing the Green Bay Packers 20-3.
And that's good. Yeah, we knock out the Vikings, get them out of the way, take care of business against Atlanta. You look at different scenarios, Christian. It's not far-fetched. Now, again, I don't know if we could do anything in the postseason. Some people might say, why go to the postseason if you can't truly win a championship? You never know. I mean, what can happen? It's not a series. It's not the best out of 5 or best out of 7. It's one game. Anything can happen. Now, the reason why I still think there's hope, Christian, is because we beat 2 of the best who are considered the best in the NFC. We beat Green Bay the first game. Not only beat them, took them to the woodshed. And then we take Tampa Bay to the woodshed. Now, we didn't play the Rams. That didn't happen against Dallas. Whatever. But it's not like one game something miraculously couldn't happen. But, to get to a Super Bowl, something have to really be clicking. Like all of a sudden, you're taking away the football a multitude of times and you're not turning it over. And all of a sudden, whoa, we went on that playoff run. You look at the Giants. So you remember I always bring that up when they knocked off the Patriots. Christian, they were ready to run out of town, Tom Coughlin and Eli Manning in early December, and they won the Super Bowl. So it can be a magical season. Now, we all talking about you have to have a franchise-type quarterback to win a Super Bowl. And we were talking about that off the air probably about an hour ago. But you remember we were saying that it's not 100%. Nothing's 100%. But it just seems like you have to have what's considered a franchise quarterback to be the world champs. Now, if you look back a couple of decades, early in this century, Trent Dilfer with the Ravens, Brad Johnson with Tampa Bay, they weren't like Hall of Famers, Pro Football Hall of Famers, weren't world beaters. But you look at their team, how it was structured. Eli, winning 2 Super Bowls, I think he has an opportunity to go to the Hall of Fame. But you would think, Christian, would need, even though your defense is great, in this day and age, the way the rules are structured, you still would need that maybe Hall of Fame type quarterback. And that's why I always bring up like the Aaron Rodgers of the world. Russell Wilson, he made the statement last year, the Saints would be one of 4 teams that he looked forward to playing for. And I think that's because of Sean Payton. And then Deshaun Watson, the reason why I keep bringing up Deshaun Watson, eventually he's going to be out of trouble, and he's still young. Whether it's a civil suit and whatever comes about with that, he missed the whole season, and he settles all that financially, they might get a big chunk of his money because he's got $150 million, guaranteed. Christian, I want to say, I think next year he's still only 26 years old. He didn't forget how to play football. So then you look at Derek Carr and all that. So there's different options. Now, Derek Carr, I would say I think he's been unbelievable considering the anxiety and strife they've had since John Gruden has left the Raiders. The Raiders are relevant. Look how they've kept that team together, and I think Derek Carr's a big part of that, keeping them relevant. So it'll be interesting to see how he's a part of the Raiders, or does he go somewhere else? And that's why it's always intriguing when we bring it up, whether it's sports talk or these type shows, about the quarterback position. And I think right now that we have a championship defense. a championship defense. Now, having a championship defense, do we have an offense that could complement that championship defense? Because you very seldom have an outstanding defense and an outstanding offense. I'm not saying, like both top 10, top 5. Now, because we've seen previously, and we've been a 500 team, we were 1, 2, or 3 in offense, and our defense sucked. They were terrible. So now we got a kick-ass defense, and then it's our offense. So it's hard to get that combination what you have invested in. But I think the Saints are still in the win-now mode. I don't know what's going to happen to finish this season. But, Chris, it ain't no rebuilding. I still think the Saints are looking at 2022, 23, or whatever it might take. Look, the Rams are all in. All chips are in. Look at the Rams when they get Matthew Stafford. They're all in. The Rams are in it. If the Rams don't win the Super Bowl this year, then they failed because they're all in. Very similar kind of copycat league what Tampa Bay did to get Tom Brady and all the pieces. That's kind of like we're building for the future. Building for the future. The future is now. And what are you doing now next season? It's not, we're going to be all right 2023, 2024. The fans don't put up with that. There's too much money involved. You got to win now and whatever it takes. So look at the Rams and how they all in with Matthew Stafford. If they win, that's a bust because it is Super Bowl or bust. The Saints are going Super Bowl or bust. I truly believe going forward, that's why I don't think the quarterback's on this team right now.
Bobby Hebert, Christian Garrick. We will wrap up the point after with a couple of phone calls. Also, you'll hear from Chauncey Gardner-Johnson after the break. This is the Point After on the New Orleans Saints Radio Network. Back here on the Point After, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson came up with a big interception to seal the game. Here is C.D. Deuce after the victory.
Hey, Chauncey, how important do you feel like the energy that you bring to this defense is?
You won, right? All right, next question. I'm not gonna say too much. It's just we won the game.
Jude.
Just love, pain, passion.
Chauncey, can you walk me through your pick at the end of the game?
Very long distance. You can't do too much. You ain't got no timeouts. Just keep it in front of you. And if the ball throws, break on the ball. And that's what I did. And that's what Coach preaches in the game when we get back. We get them backed up long distance. Play the ball. Everybody back up, play the ball.
Luke?
CJ, how big was Cam for you guys today in really these last couple of weeks?
Set the tone, man. He sets the tone for this defense. When Cam goes and Cam brings his hands to work, Cam is Cam. And I don't think there's a day he doesn't bring his hands to work. So to have a presence like that on the edge and then to be able to have a dominant presence on the front with him is just, we can feed off that. When a quarterback has got to worry about Cam and not worry about the whole defense, it makes everybody play at a high level. I can't do nothing but give Cam all-time praise and just keep stacking them sacks and just congratulations to him because it's going to keep going. He deserves it.
Amy?
Yeah, before he left the game, PJ filling in at the multiple positions that he's played this season. How has he been beneficial for y'all?
Talking about PJ?
Yeah.
Man, PJ, that's the vet. And the guy taught me everything I know since I got here. That's why I played nickel. It's just an honor and humbleness to be playing with a guy like that. He's been through this team, been with this team through ups and downs. So to see a guy just to be able to go out there and grit, grind, fight, and just be him. Unfortunate circumstances today, but we held it down as a team to hold him down, and I think we made him proud. And being the vet that he is, I think he's happy himself. So, I just love being a part of being teammates with PJ and learning from him. Like you say, everybody have their opinions about him, but we love him.
Mike Triplett.
You guys had a couple plays where they got loose in open space early in the game, especially the touchdown run. What was sort of the message and the reaction after that? Because you really didn't give up anything else after that.
Tackle better. Tackle better and run to the ball. Play with passion. Sometimes about X's and O's, sometimes about passion.
You see, when I bring the passion, my teammates bring the passion. They understand that you got to lock in more to your technique assignment, and you got to be way more physical than other team to withstand. So that first touchdown, that's all. Put like that.
Nick?
CJ, you mentioned last week just kind of how the defensive front was getting slandered a little bit and just how they were helping you guys coming on. Just how satisfying is it for you just as a teammate to see them guys doing what they're doing and getting the production they're getting the last 3-4 weeks?
Man, you can't talk about last week. They were shorthanded. You can't do nothing when you only got 4 or 5 D linemen. But you can see we got a healthy D lineman. Nobody's sick. Nobody's hurt. Nobody's injured. Nobody can't stop that front. I mean, they dominated 3-4 weeks ago. They dominated the beginning of the season. They're dominating now. So it's just been an ongoing season from all of them guys up front, the whole front. I mean, if it wasn't for them, I don't think we'll be playing as high. I mean, you got to give that front their props. I mean, I wouldn't catch the picks. My guys wouldn't catch the picks, linebackers, and nobody would be able to do anything we're doing without that front. I mean, I give a lot of credit to them. Like Coach said, you win your one-on-one, and they're winning their one-on-ones.
Luke Johnson.
Yes, CJ, what does it just mean to you guys? You're going into this week 18 playing a meaningful football game. You know, you keep your playoff hopes alive in that last week.
Let's play football. Playoff will come after the game. I mean, can't go in there talking about no playoffs because playoffs ain't starting right now. The playoffs start in a couple weeks. I'm focused on Atlanta right now. I'm ready to go to Atlanta right now. I'm ready to win right now in practice right now. So just got to get that one back they took from us. That's all.
Got to get that one back they took from us. Whew.
Man, all I know is the Who Dat Nation, CD Deuce is #1 player for life as part of the Who Dat Nation. You know, you decide who you're going to pay or not pay. All I know is Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, CD Deuce, however you describe him, he's a baller. Football's his life. Football's his hobby. Is that important to him? And he's keeping it real. I mean, Christian, you know, Gary, you're 100-point underdog or your favorite. Come on, you got to go play. It's football. You got to get it done. And he's talking about, it's so true. You can get it done on the back end, but the best pass coverage is a pass rush. I don't know who they got to pay in the future, but I think the Who Dat Nation would agree with this. If you had a chance to pay Chauncey Gardner-Johnson or Marcus Williams, even though Marcus Williams is considered one of the best free safeties in the league right now, I think P.J. Williams, based on his production, he's been underpaid. But if Chauncey Gardner-Johnson or Marcus Williams, I'm paying CD Deuce. Come on.
All right, that's a wrap for The Point After on the New Orleans Saints Radio Network. Bobby, say goodbye.
All right. Bon nuit, les gens. Good night, people. Who Dat?